Hi everybody. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Trader Joe's and why I am taking a little bit of a hiatus from that grocery store. I've had a few interesting experiences there, and I'm trying to stay in line with my New Year's resolutions to try to improve my life and live a stress-free life. So unfortunately, one of the pieces of collateral damage of living a stress-free life is no longer going to Trader Joe's to eat their delicious lunch salads and what have you. So as you guys may remember from my previous videos of living stress-free, I always talk about adapt or die, and that is, if you want to change something in your life, you have to change first. And so I've come to learn that there are certain things that stress me out more than others, and one thing is, rude people or kind of people that are just not aware of their surroundings and being around them, they tend to stress me out a little bit. And unfortunately, they also seem to congregate at Trader Joe's. So let me tell you a little bit about my experience at Trader Joe's and how you have to change and how I'm going to change so that I don't have issues with feeling stress, and how you have to remove yourself and not be afraid to remove yourself from situations that trigger you feeling any sort of stress. So the Trader Joe's near my house, there are two of them. One in particular, it's so crowded. They're probably also crowded here in Los Angeles, but this one's so crowded they've hired a full-time parking attendant just to get people in and out of the parking lot. If anybody that lives in Los Angeles probably knows this, but I guess it's an unspoken rule here. Even if you're reversing out of a parking spot, your car could be 95% out of the spot, completely in the the throughway, and people will still be squeezing by, driving their cars behind your car to squeeze by and honking, even though it's now clearly your right of way because your car is completely pulling out of the spot. That's number one. Number two is nobody lets you reverse out of your parking spot here because there seems to be no consideration for somebody reversing. And that goes for pedestrians too. Your car could be reversing and you've already reversed 80% out of your spot, and yet people will still be walking behind your car as though they have the right of way, even though at that point, my opinion is you have the right of way. Anyways, so that entire parking lot is a cluster fuck, as we say. So that's one stressor, just even finding a parking spot and navigating around it. That in and of itself is a stressful aspect of going to Trader Joe's. And you can just see the honking while you pull into the parking lot, the lineup of cars trying to get in. It's crazy. So once you jump over that hurdle and you finally found a parking spot without getting too stressed out, once you get into the store, it's another matter. So let me tell you about my recent trip there earlier this week on Monday. I finally walk in and there's this larger lady walking in front of me. Now, the issue with Trader Joe's, aside from the parking, is it doesn't have the largest aisles. It's a fairly small grocery store in some regards compared to the big box stores. And this lady's walking in front of me, and I just want to go around her because she's walking extremely slow. I know what I want to get it, I want to leave. She's probably walking at about, I don't know, a quarter mile an hour at best. So, I let her slowly walk until there's a bit of a distance, and then I try to go around to her left. What does she do? She just gradually meanders around to her left without looking. So now I'm blocked. So now I step back and now I try to go around to her right. Well, what does she do now? Now she just meanders over to her right. I guess that's okay in LA, where a lot of people seem to think that they're the only ones on the street or in a store, but I kept getting blocked. So, what I did is I said, screw this. So I went all the way around this aisle to get around her because it was just too much and there's other people. And as soon as I finally get around her by running around the other side of the aisle, now I'm confronted with a lady that has a kid on each hand while holding their hands. And the thing is, like I said, Trader Joe's doesn't have the biggest spaces and the aisles aren't super wide, not to mention the crowd of people. So to walk side by side wide with your two kids, well, it is obnoxious. Why? Because maybe obnoxious isn't the right word, but it's extremely inconsiderate because you're now occupying the entire aisle all the way from the left to the right, so you've created this barrier. So now I'm stuck trying to get around that lady, and the thing is, people are generally not looking out for anybody but themselves, which is what I'm trying to teach to you too. I mean, you should look out for other people, but you know, at some point you also have to realize that you have to look out for yourself first. So I can't get around this lady either. I say excuse me a couple of times. You know, people's heads are in the cloud. They're not even listening to the peripheral noise, which is what mine probably was to her. So anyways, enough of that. I finally get what I want. It's tough, but then I get to the cash register. And this has happened to me before at Trader Joe's. I get to the cash register and there's this lady that's checking out. I went to this cash register because it was the shortest line and she was just finishing up paying, or so I thought. Turns out, after the cashier's done taking all of her stuff, she mentions, hey, what happened to those little peanut butter cups you guys used to have? They engage in a conversation now. Fine, okay, I understand customer service and it's a friendly atmosphere, notwithstanding the fact that there are other people in line, me. And what ends up happening is, he now volunteers to send somebody back into the store to figure out where those peanut butter cups are, so she can now add them to her purchase. A few problems with that. Like I said, it's inconsiderate because somebody else is there, again, me, and I don't recall if somebody was behind me at that time. She could have just gone in the store at another point and got them, or at least let her finish her purchase and come back in line. So now we're waiting for them to try to figure out where these peanut butter cups are for her to buy. So at this point, while we're waiting, this elderly lady comes up to me. I couldn't tell. She could have been in her late 80s. She was holding looked like a gift card, not a gift card rather, but like a birthday card or some sort of card. And so now what happens is this. This elderly lady comes up and starts standing beside me. She kind of looks at me, I look at her, then she kind of walks and stands behind me, and then hovers to my right. Cashier's to my left. She hovers to my right. So this lady is standing to my side, kind of meandering back and forth beside me instead of behind me, when really she should be, you know, right behind me, and certainly not in front of me. And, you know, she really didn't even make much eye contact with me. She was just kind of trying to make me read her energy. She was trying to control me by projecting some sort of energy instead of just asking something politely. So here's what happens next. Finally, Mrs. Buttercup lady gets her buttercups and is done. This elderly lady suddenly walks in front of me, and without even making eye contact with me, just looks at the cashier, holds up her one card, and says, I only have one item. Now this is my favorite part, because I look at my hands, and I only have one item. I just had one single salad. So this lady's trying to butt in front of me under the guise of she should go in front of me because she just has one item, and as though I have 20, but I only have one item. So I literally am so dumbfounded. The cashier looks at me. I look at the cashier. I'm disappointed with him too, because frankly he should be saying something. And I just look at the stupidity of the situation, and with the great sarcasm I simply state, by all means, go ahead of me. And of course the lady still doesn't even look at me or even say thank you. But I thought, you know, I could have just stood there and gotten increasingly upset about it. But instead I removed myself from it. I left. I left that checkout, and I looked for another checkout. I almost left the store actually at that point. I was just so distasted by what I was seeing and the behavior of the people, and they're behaving like, I don't even want to say animals, because I've noticed animals are quite polite. But anyways, I went to another checkout, and I quickly paid for my salad, and I saw the older lady starting to walk out too. And anyways, I quickly walked out of the store ahead of her, so in one way I felt like I won. Yeah, I'm kind of like that. So anyways, I've decided, you know, after these experiences there, what am I doing? Every time I go there, I kind of leave a little bit stressed because of the behavior of the people, just in how clueless a lot of them seem to be there. So instead of me going back and hitting my head on the wall and just repeating these cycles, I've decided not to go to Trader Joe's anymore for the foreseeable future. Like I said, if you want change, you have to change. So I'm trying to stay true to my resolutions, and sayonara Trader Joe's until you guys start getting a bit more organized at your store. And this isn't even your fault. I mean, look, you guys are a great store and you attract a lot of people, but unfortunately a lot of them are just, you know, too busy with their cell phone on one hand and a card in one hand. They expect you to move out of the way because they're too lazy. I don't like it. So, adapt or die. I hope somebody can gain some insight from this, or maybe not, but I love Trader Joe's. The food, I can't say anything bad about it. But yeah, the operations management could use a little bit of help. And some of the people there could use some awakening. So without further ado, thanks for listening to this video. Keep changing, keep observing your surroundings. Don't let other people control you with their emotions. And no, you don't always have to be the one to move out of the way for people when you're at stores. Otherwise, you're just a ping pong ball. Let people take responsibility for what they're doing. You don't always have to absorb that. So thank you, and I will talk to you later.